படைப்பிலக்கிய வெற்றியாளர் தேசிய புவியியல் கழகம், நட்பேக் சிறப்பு அங்கீகாரம் ராட்டர்டாம், ஆசியான் திரைப்பட போட்டி பேங்காக், அதிகாரப்பூர்வ தேர்வு பூசான் மற்றும் ஹாங்காங் திரைப்பட விழா.
மழையே வான்மழையே என்னை விலகி செல்லாதே, மனமே பின் மனமே நீ மௌனம் கொள்ளாதே, உயிரே.
அவன் எப்ப வருவா எப்படி வருவான் யாருக்கு தெரியாது.
போறது உடன் பிடிக்கிறதுக்கு இல்ல பில்டப் வேறையா?
இந்த பாஸ் கூட சேர்ந்துக்கிட்டு கோல் நம்பருக்கு போறதும்.
Saya Vimala Perumal, saya berasal dari Sungai Petani Kedah. Saya mendapat pendidikan awal di Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Ibrahim dan saya mempunyai 2 orang abang, 3 adik-beradik lah kiranya. Dan sekarang ni saya bekerja di Multimedia University. Saya adalah pensyarah kanan di Fakulti Kreatif Multimedia, Multimedia University Cyberjaya. Dan setakat ini penlibatan saya dalam dunia perfilman ni sebenarnya bermula sejak tahun 2002 sebagai seorang production assistant. Time tu saya masih lagi di universiti sebagai seorang pelajar dan minat saya terhadap to be honest lah, minat saya terhadap dunia perfilman ni sebenarnya started when I was in the university. Jadi bila saya mendapat tawaran beasiswa untuk melanjutkan pelajaran dalam bidang filem dan animasi di MMU, saya rasa bersyukur. Tapi pada masa yang sama, saya takut sebab saya dah pelajar science stream. So, bila saya pergi ke universiti, tahun pertama tu sebenarnya saya merana sangat-sangat. Sebab semuanya back to basic. So, banyak psychomotor skills, you have to start to draw, paint. Dan saya boleh katakan tahun pertama tu tak ada hari yang saya tak menangis lah. So, saya buat masa ni at the same time now I would like to thank my lecturer Cik Mat yang betul-betul memberi saya sokongan dan dorongan sebab he told me when I was really breakdown, saya memang dah breakdown lah, tak nak continue. So then he told me, look at here Vimala, I don't believe in talent, I only believe in practice and discipline. If you have these two, you can go anywhere in your life. So benda ni sangat, it was so inspiring to me at that time. So I started to, put up myself, put all my, saya dah breakdown sangat-sangat time tu. So I just get up again, let's do it. And that's when I started to love what I was doing. So that was my second year of my studies dekat MMU where I started to fall in love with my photography. Time tu fotografi kita guna filem, dia bukan SLR, DSLR, it was just guna filem. So proses pembelajaran tu it was very orang cakap macam mana, with the book everywhere I go I have a note. Kita tulis shutter speed dia lah, dia punya aperture berapa, and it was tough but at the same time I was enjoying it. So when I started to enjoy all these things, that's when bila saya tengah belajar dekat universiti yang MMU tu, ada banyak film produksi yang akan datang ke MMU untuk buat shooting. So bila mereka tanya siapa yang nak volunteer untuk bekerja sebagai production assistant, I volunteer myself. So most of my weekends tu filled out with volunteering work as a production assistant. So that's when I started to menceburkan diri dalam dunia perfilman. Walaupun saya dah pelajar filem dan animasi, actually output kami time tu adalah animasi, tapi saya lebih minat kepada filem. So I would say the process during my uni days yang sebenarnya telah mengubah my direction in life. Jadi setelah saya tamatkan pengajian saya dalam bidang filem dan animasi pada tahun 2004, saya mendapat tawaran untuk bekerja di universiti yang sama sebagai seorang tutor. Jadi saya pun join because sebab I was under beasiswa. So while I was studying, I continue my master, doing my master. And minat saya terhadap filem pada masa tu, it was so deep that I started to work in a lot of independent film production. So I started to work as a production manager and then I started to write and became a producer eventually. So selepas tu pada tahun 2008, I started to write my own short film, and it started as at first tu bila saya buat short film tu bersama suami saya, pada masa tu dia adalah teman lelaki saya, boyfriend saya. So it was we started as a group of friends doing together. Tak ada bajet, sempoi-sempoi je. So, but one thing is that the more we practice, one of our short film actually went to international Busan International Short Film Festival, and bila kita travel ke film festival, dia membuka lebih peluang dan juga membuka mata lah, because we see more things, how people from other countries looking at Malaysian Indian in Malaysia. Because when we travel to other countries, people think that we are an Indian from India. So when we explain, they were like, oh, there is an Indian living in Malaysia. So I said, yes, we are from Malaysia and we are Malaysian Indian, and this is our story. And benda-benda yang mereka lihat dalam filem pada masa itu, soalan-soalan yang diorang tanya tu, it was very, very fundamental that sometimes we take things for granted in life, like contohnya, do you take out your shoes when you go inside the house? I says, yes, we do. So the cultural exchange di situ yang membuatkan kami lebih, we tend to appreciate film more. So that's when our journey started. And selepas tu, we started to, my husband, he encouraged me, he gave me the confidence to, let's do a feature film. Pada masa tu saya tak confident, memang tak confident sangat-sangat. Tapi he boost me. He said, I think we are ready for a feature. So that's when it started in year 2010, the turning point in our life where we start to make feature films. Setakat ini, saya dah direct 3 short film, 3 feature film dan juga 1 drama bersiri sebanyak 27 episod. And bagi diri saya, pencapaian tertinggi saya yang saya tidak dapat lupakan sampai sekarang ni adalah when my short film was selected as a finalist at Busan International Short Film Festival and Mumbai Third Eye Film Festival, dan juga feature film Vedigundu Passange yang terkini, which was released in 2018, mendapat Special Jury Award dekat FFM, which was it's very very close to our heart, sebab something yang especially bila the announcement was made when they mentioned that Vedigundu Passange is a movie that memaparkan sosio ekonomi masyarakat India di negara ini. So this is what something yang kita nak tell to the audience, and finally it was mentioned there. We felt that that was the biggest achievement. And so far, for film Vedigundu, we have received almost 14 international recognition and also award, as well as almost about 38 awards di Malaysia. So all these awards is very very meaningful. Each and every award ni sebenarnya macam satu award yang pertama kami receive. It's like, walaupun people they say you've received so many award, but that has never been measure. Bagi kita macam setiap award itu adalah satu award pertama yang kami terima. So that's very very meaningful. Personally, I like films that give hopes, a film that inspires. So sebenarnya saya mendapat proper exposure on films when I was in my uni days. Sebelum tu sebenarnya I came from a middle class family, so watching a film in a cinema, it's like a luxury, so we can't afford it. Jadi what my father will do is that he will just go to this shop and rent a tape. Dulu kita VHS tape, so ayah akan rent this VHS tape, and then he comes back home, and then the same tape will be playing every night macam bedtime story, every day we watching that movie for 7 days sebab nak berbaloi kan duit yang kita bagi sewa tu. So that's how I get the exposure to movies when I was small. And movie yang ayah rent dulu pun it's very 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s punya movie lah, so it's sometimes black and white movie. So memandangkan time tu we don't have any other choice left. That's what we'll be watching together as a family. So sampai kadang-kadang some of the scene tu, some of the dialogues tu kita dah boleh remember, we can memorize the lines. Then after that, the only source of our film, to watch a film, is a TV. So that time, my childhood films is filled with a film by Arwah P. Ramlee, and a film by Stephen Chow, director Stephen Chow, and a film by 90s punya movies, which I love the most is film by director Mani Ratnam. So these are the movies that has been my childhood movies, I would say, that I grew up watching with. And name it film Arwah P. Ramlee, Ibu Mertuaku, Anakku Sazali, Laksamana, Doremi. All these movies has been in my favourite list. And bila saya pergi ke university life, this is where I get a proper exposure to filmmakers. Dulu saya hanya kenal film as in a film. I don't know who's the makers behind it. So bila saya pergi ke university, saya mula mengenali pengarah-pengarah yang terkenal, which is has a very big names in the world. So one of the filmmaker yang menjadi inspirasi utama saya dalam kerjaya saya sebagai seorang pembikin filem adalah Satyajit Ray. I love his films, especially his Opus trilogy, and I love dia punya philosophy, the thinking behind in each of his film. So two of the things that I follow devotionally whenever we write a story, I used to write the story with my husband together in all my films. So one of the two things from Satyajit Ray that becomes very close that we follow devotionally is one, they mentioned that he don't write stories about the 19th centuries. So whenever he write an original story, he write about the people that he knows first hand and the situation that he familiar with. Ini adalah satu benda yang kami follow, whereby all in our 3 feature films from Vimala Perumal, Vedigundu Passange sehingga ke Vedigundu Passange, this trilogy follows the same mechanism, whereby it's about the people, Malaysian Indian in Malaysia. Dan yang keduanya dia ada menyatakan bahawa when you yang paling penting dia sebut dalam in one of his writing is that make sure when we do a film we have a happy ending, and if we can end the film with a jerk of tears before the happy ending, it will be much more better. So pada mulanya kita rasa macam what he's actually trying to say, we try to implement in our first film, but we didn't have the happy ending, tapi it has a tear-jerking moment. But end of the day, audience critics saying that you should have a happy ending. So we took that as a room for improvisation. So we improvised in the second film that we gave a happy ending, we gave a hope. So that's continue dengan filem yang ketiga as well. So ini adalah dua falsafah beliau yang menjadi I would say the main inspiration in our writing. So dan seterusnya I love films by Hau Xiao Xian. He's a Taiwanese filmmaker. Filem beliau bila kita tengok dia suka very extreme long shot with a very minimal camera movement, but you can see the actor dengan space within the frame tu, it is so intricate, so detail sangat dia punya koreografi. Sangat cantik yang kita boleh duduk dan layan je filem tu. So saya suka filem-filem beliau sebab it's very orang cakap apa, very beautiful. It's very beautiful, and I believe God is in the detail, So in each of his frame, you can see the intricacy, the detailness in that frame. And dan seterusnya I like Deepa Mehta as well. Deepa Mehta, especially her Elements trilogy, Water, Earth and Fire. The struggles of the woman were so real and it was so beautifully captured. And selain daripada itu, saya juga suka filem-filem arwah Yasmin Ahmad, which is very light and warm, that tells the story about people with mixed culture and so on. I like that approach that she used in all her films. And also Liu Seng Tat, his film Flower in the Pocket, which is very it is comical, but at the same time I see the film as he has a comedy that has value in the film. So these are some of the films that I liked, and I would say it has become some sort of macam mana saya inspire me in a way, dan banyak lagi director lain yang juga saya suka because I tak ada particularly like I like this one director or two director. I have so many directors that I like them for a certain particular criteria or characteristic. Misalnya even director Mani Ratnam, I like his film. I like the way he show the relationship between the characters in the film. So, and his film like Anjali, Roja, Bombay, it's all a fantastic movie that we can learn, we can learn from his films. So these are some of the films that are very close to my heart. And lagi satu. And one more is film Arahan Abang Yue, whereby his film Perempuan Isteri dan dan juga Kaki Bakar. Kaki Bakar, I really love that film because it shows one of the main character yang begitu strong in his religion and his belief. So I like the way the character was being portrayed in the film. So these are the films that has been, been a source of inspiration for me since young. And since young, I've been watching all these family-oriented drama because my dad used to rent those kind of family-oriented drama. So I like films that are very much talks about the people and the relationship in the society that we are living in. Actually, shorts made me a filmmaker. Bila saya nak menceburi bidang perfilman ni, especially want to direct a feature film, I was not confident at all to direct a feature. So bila saya dapat short film, and when we got the recognition, when the film was travelling into a lot of film festival, that's where we get the confidence. And of course, I have to thank my husband for that confidence that he has given to me, and that I'm ready to direct a feature. So I would say a short film ni adalah satu platform di mana kita gunakan short film tu untuk melatih diri kita, for us to practice. Sebab film is, kalau kita ambil feature film, it is a very expensive business. So short film tu kalau boleh, we have to, it's with a very minimal cost we can make a short film. It's a platform for us to train ourselves. We can afford to make mistake. Kita boleh buat mistake, we can learn from the mistake. So it is a skill that we can learn through a short film. Jadi melalui, kalau tanya saya perbezaan short film dengan feature, I would say the skala. Short film is skala a small scale, feature film is a bigger scale, and the process is the same. It's just the scale is the different. So that's the only difference. And we can afford to make mistake in short film, but we can't afford to make mistake when we go to a feature film, because feature film is a way too expensive. And when we say about short film, the most important thing in making, bila buat filem pendek, is the content. Content is the king when we are making a short film. So we have to focus on storytelling. How we tell a story dalam masa yang begitu pendek. Sebenarnya memang sukar sangat-sangat untuk tell a story in a short duration. So that is a very good platform untuk kita melatih diri kita to tell a story in a limited time given. And that's how I see short film. And if you can make an interesting short film, well shot, well balanced, with minimal budget to no budget, then I think we are ready to direct a feature film. Being a female filmmaker, I always have this aspiration that one day all of us will be called a filmmaker only, sebagai seorang pembikin filem sahaja. I do not prefer us to be categorized into these boxes as a female filmmaker or a male filmmaker or art filmmaker or a commercial filmmaker. I just prefer to be a filmmaker. So this has been my aspiration, I would say. One day I hope everybody will just say we are just a filmmaker. So the reason being is because I know ini adalah satu bidang yang sangat mencabar bagi kaum wanita terutamanya, because it's a male dominated industry. But if we come to think about it, most of the bidang, most of the industry, it's very male dominated industry. So I would say the only thing that can keep us together is the respect between male and woman. So the reason being is because I grew up observing, watching, and following two different cultures since young. So ayah saya, he's an Indian man, and my mom is a Chinese. So when I look into my dad's family, his culture and tradition is very much very stereotypical, whereby the ladies, the woman is the homemaker, and the man is the breadwinner of the family. So but on the other hand, on the other extreme, when I go to my atuk belah mak pula, it's very different, because I can see there is no difference between a woman and a man in my mom's family. Sebab datuk saya akan duduk kat kitchen masak, nenek pula akan sometimes duduk dekat cashier, counting the money and handles the financial matters in the business and so on. So it was so different. And bila saya tengok dua benda ni from two different perspective, I feel that something yang saya belajar, I think since I was young, that I try to adapt and adopt and compromise and tolerate sometimes. And bila dekat at home pula, I have two brother, dua abang, dan cara kami I would say how we grow up together is basically it's equal. Kalau hari ni saya sapu sampah, esok abang saya pula yang kena sapu sampah. It's like we don't see the inequality of gender at home. So this is something that I would say, so saya tak rasa tertindas masa saya kecil. I feel like it's well balanced. Dan bila saya besar, saya pergi universiti, bila saya when I fall in love with my husband, boyfriend, now husband, bila saya pergi family dia, he is also from the same side of the family like my father, which is very stereotypical, whereby woman is the homemaker and the man is the breadwinner. So eventually when kita dah kahwin, dah dekat 10 tahun sekarang ni, dia mula-mula berubah. He changed, he shared the burden. I would say dia pun memahami that man and woman are the same. So it's like I cannot change a person until and unless the person would want to change themselves. So that's what I see life is all about between these two different worlds. So bila kita perkara ni yang kita cuba terapkan dalam filem-filem kami. So in all our films, you can see secara subtlenya we will show that the characters in the story tu sebenarnya it coincide together. Dia, for example, dalam filem Vimala Perumal, our first feature film, you can see how the girlfriend, the heroine actually will be the driving force for the man, the hero, to improve in his life. It's a playful tajuk filem tu ada playful folks. Filem tu it was based on this group of youngsters in youth among Indian community ni yang sangat playful. Diorang tak pernah serious on life. They just lepak, tak memberi importance on education, on what's the future is going to be. So there is this heroine character that will force the hero that you should think about future. So driving force, there is a female that pushing the man. So that was our first film, but it was so very subtle that the approach yang kami guna dalam filem itu adalah comedy plus it's a cynical comedy. And very kenapa cynical comedy? Because dalam masa zaman sekarang ni, kita tak suka orang kalau dia advise kita. Sama macam anak-anak kita kan, kalau kita advise dia, kita force dia, suruh dia buat this thing, they're not gonna follow. So the approach yang kita guna tu, dia kena lain. So cynical comedy works, touch wood, it works in our first film. That's when we started with our second film. So second film pun sama juga. It's Vedigundu Passange. It's called Useless Folk. So bila these people are so playful, tak pandang serious terhadap life. So what happened? You do not have a proper job. So in my second film, I touch on the unemployment rate in the country among the Indian community. So, but it was very subtly touched. So I just touch on this group of guys, Indian guys. They are being useless to the society, lepak sini, lepak sana, tak buat kerja, tipu duit mak, ambil duit EPF mak, that kind of storyline. Very common story. It's a very common story that happened in everyone's life. And we have these parents, ibu kepada hero ni, this protagonist, ibu dan bapa, the relationship between this couple that we portray in the film, in the sense that actually the mother playing a decision maker role in the house. So we try to break the stereotype that a woman is not only belong to the kitchen. The equal say between the couples tu kita cuba terapkan dalam relationship, dalam karakter dalam filem yang kami tonjolkan. So bila datang ke filem yang ketiga, which is Vedigundu Passange, the last trilogy, di mana saya paparkan isu-isu yang berkaitan, if you do not have a proper job, you ended up in crime. So bila you ended up this, because you want to survive, you need money. So I touched on the crime issues, but at the same time, how this group of Indian youngsters, without them knowing how they actually fall into the trap of this crime, due under the name of friendship. So this is what we portrayed in Vedigundu Passange, the last film. And even dalam filem ini pun kita cuba the most of the issues yang kita paparkan dalam filem-filem tu, it's about the Malaysian Indian, their struggles, but in a very light way that is not forceful. Very orang cakap apa, santai lah. We just don't want to force people, because as a filmmaker saya rasa kita bukan kat sini untuk bagi kesedaran sivik atau memberi message kepada masyarakat. We just want to tell the story. When people watch, if they go back home with the laughter, if they get entertained, that's fine. If they go back home with a message here and there, we are more than happy with it. So it depends on how audience watch the film. Jadi dalam how to say, but when we as a filmmaker, we want to make certain films, there must be something yang kita nak bagi tahu. There must be something that we are dyingly wanted to tell, you know. So I would say our upbringing, what we see in our society, what we see in our community, is the one that sparked us to write a story about our community. So these are the three films, Vimala Perumal, Playful Folks, and then to Useless Folks, to Rowdy Folks. This trilogy ini merupakan satu suara masyarakat India yang we try to connect the dots in a very subtle way. And we use comedy, cynical comedy as our approach to reach the audience. And so that's one thing yang I would like to I would like to share with everyone that there is no difference between man and woman. The only thing that we need as a humankind is the respect and the love. Dan yang paling terkini in our drama bersiri titled Tamil Malaysia, dia memamparkan kisah tentang three married women about their struggles and joy and their pain in today's life. So drama ni mendapat satu sambutan yang sangat hebat in Astro, and it has been one of the highest rating drama to date. So we are very grateful for that. So drama ini pun kalau if you watched it, it's very much touching on it's not so much about the gender equality, because I think feminism ni, a man also can be a feminist, you know, a woman also can be a masculine. So we are no longer fighting for gender equality nowadays, but I think we just need respect and love into this relationship. This is what we want. We just want to be respected and to be loved. So dalam drama berseri Tamil Malaysia ini, this is what we touch, because we are not going to compete with a man or a woman. It's not our intention. There is no competition between these man and woman, but we just want to show the love and the respect that they need as a human being. So drama berseri Tamil Malaysia actually touches on women and men, their married life and the struggles and the pain that they face together. So this is what we would like to share actually as a filmmaker. So in order to go global, first of all, I think we have to be successful locally. So make a film that tells our unique stories of our Malaysian. So dalam filem Vedigundu Passange misalnya, we tell the story about our Malaysian Indians. So the story we cannot compare it to Hollywood movies, because cara the character speaks, the way the lifestyle, the backdrop is totally different. It's a different backdrop, a different lifestyle, a different total different culture. So that's our uniqueness. You know, we Malaysian Indian, we speak with Malays in a different style. Our slang is different. So ini keunikan kita. Saya rasa ini adalah selling point kita untuk kita travel globally. So utilize this, tell our Malaysian story, because we are really unique. This is our selling point actually, and focus on that. Definitely kita boleh travel to a lot of countries. Like movie Vedigundu Passange, we actually managed to distribute it in UK, and it was well received in UK. There were Indians there, they actually went there to watch the film, and they feel connected with the film because they rasa because Indians are everywhere in the entire world, so they kind of understand certain part of it, because end of the day the root, we come from the same root, so they get connected as well. So bila kita travel ke Norway pun, they feel like, okay, this is how Malaysian Indian lives, because they are also Indian in Norway, but their lifestyle is different. So we have story to share. We have so many things that we can share. So, and they also feel like they want to come. They want to come to Malaysia. I also want to be part of, like how you all eat, what because the way we eat pun lain. So this is the cultural bridge yang kita perlu ada, the exchange that we have to focus on, and let's focus on Malaysianized story. Then I think we will stand unique in this dunia perfilman ni. So that's our strength. And secondly, I think we should focus on improving our technical skills, in the sense that end of the day, filem ni adalah audio and visual punya business. So it has to be a proper film. Then it will be accepted well in a way. Because bila normal audience, when they watch the movie, when the sound is a cracking sound here and there, bila ada noise yang berlebihan, they feel disturbed, but they just don't know how to tell you. They feel like, something is, they feel, but they don't know how to tell. So these are all part of the film making process as well. So first, let's focus on the storytelling, because content is the king and creation is the queen. I believe film creates history and history creates films. Jadi bila when we tell a story, let's tell it from the heart, and it will definitely reach the people's heart. So we always believe this whenever we write a story actually. So what I would like to say here is that sebagai seorang pembikin filem, we should always have this tanggungjawab sosial, especially when we want to portray certain issues or certain elements yang boleh menyinggung perasaan seseorang, or some issues yang could be sensitive. So as a filmmaker, kita perlu ada tanggungjawab sosial itu, especially when we want to make a film that has all these elements, and do a proper research. Whenever we want to start a film, kita perlulah membuat satu research, before we embark into the making. So the research is very important, so that everything, all the facts is right. Dan people say, bila kita buat research tu, kita akan lebih fokus. So biar benda tu dia it's very focused. Jangan dia luas tapi dia cetek. So let biar benda tu sempit tapi dia sangat dalam. So that's what we should be actually. So that's my harapan. So whenever we make a film, tell the story from the heart and do a proper research before we actually start to make the film.